Welcome to the Lechtich Parsha podcast, where we delve into the Torah's timeless wisdom and uncover uplifting and empowering lessons tailored to the challenges of our generation.
Agon Erev Shabbos Kodesh Parshas Vayigash. In this week's Lechtich Acharei, it's called Straight Priorities in an Upside Down World. We discuss how to stay strong and committed to our priorities, even when everything is going against us, when everything seems to be pushing the other way. There's a very famous story with Reb Zusha of Astropoli. He was lying on his bed, crying, surrounded by his family and friends, and they said, Reb Zusha, why are you crying? You're going to the Ilam Emes. He was on his deathbed. What are you sad about? They said, you're almost as good as Moshe Rabbeinu. You're such a tzaddik, you're such a manhig, a leader. You're such a giver, you're such a Baal Chesed like Avraham Avinu. What do you have to worry about? What do you have to fear for the next world? And Reb Zusha replied that when I pass from this world, when I go to the Beis Din Shel Maalah, they're not going to ask me, Zusha, why were you in Moshe Rabbeinu? Why were you in Avraham Avinu? They're going to say, Zusha, why weren't you Zusha? And we always have to keep this anecdote, this mice in mind, that in Mitzvah Hashem, we're going to go to the Ilam Emes, and they're going to mon us. They're going to ask us, Nu, Yankel, did you become the best Yankel you could be? Moshe, did you become the best Moshe you could be? And we have to make sure that we are on the path, we are on par to reach that goal. The Gemara in Bava Basra Daf Yudam Beis tells us the concept of Ilam Hafachu, that everything in the next world is upside down. And what does that mean? So Moshe Feinstein in Dibros Moshe in Parshas Vayigash explains, Ilam Hafach means that in the next world, it's upside down from this world. Why? Because it's all about potential. It's about the capacity. It's about the ability that one had to be able to fulfill, to be Mamalas Tafkid. And therefore, even a person in this world who did so much, who became so great, but that perhaps may have been because he had such unbelievable yichelis, potential. Hashem just showered him with shefa, with ability to become so great. And in truth, he could have become even greater. So not necessarily will he be held as high as one who had much less, who accomplished much less, who didn't become as great, who didn't necessarily finish Shas. He wasn't the biggest Baal Tzedakah. But nevertheless, the latter very possibly will be held on a greater pedestal than the first individual, the first fellow, because he maximized, he tried, he did everything he could with the limited kelim, with the limited spiritual vessels that Hashem gave him, and therefore he'll be held even higher. And that's Pshat Ilam Hafach. In the next world, those that we think in this world are the greatest, are the best, and those that are perceived not as great, the simpleton, the guy who is not so matzliach, but he'll be even higher than the big tzaddik, than the big Talmid Chacham, because he utilized, he capitalized, he maximized on his potential, on what Hashem gave him. So he'll be even higher, he'll be even greater. That's Pshat Ilam Hafachu. And the Beis Levi tells us that we have to be very careful, because even though we're meant to use our potential, but we can't become lazy, we can't become atzelim, we can't come with excuses, we can't be self-contradictory. In this week's parsha, Yosef said the famous words, Ani Yosef oid avichai. Says the Beis Levi, of course, Yosef wasn't asking him oid avichai. Yosef knew. Yehuda told him a bunch of times how our father's going to die. Our father, if we don't bring back Binyamin, that it's going to cause him such agony, such pain, grief. And Yehuda even was willing to give up his own life to stay in Mitzrayim instead of Binyamin. So of course Yosef knew Avichai, he knew that Yaakov Avinu was living. So what was the question? So basically he explains, Yosef, he was asking, Ani Yosef, Ha'oid Avichai. Ha'oid Avichai means, my father is living? How could my father still be living? All of a sudden now, after all these years, I was in bitter Mitzrayim. I was lost. I was treated terribly. felt like I hit rock bottom, despair, yish. You didn't care about me when you sold me. You didn't care about me when you wanted to kill me. Seemingly you didn't care about Yaakov Avinu then. You didn't care about our father then. You didn't seem to have cared if he would have dropped dead because you sold me. You knew that I was the apple of his eye. You knew that I was the most beloved of all you. And even though you were jealous of Yaakov's feeling towards me, and you wanted to get rid of me, and you had good intentions, but nevertheless, you weren't worried back then about Yaakov ha'od avichai. So now, ha'od avichai, Yosef was giving teichacha, ha'od avichai, you're asking me, is my father still living? You're worried that Yaakov is going to die? What happened back then? And as the Torah tells us, that they couldn't answer this, to this teichacha, the Shvatim couldn't answer. They were dumbfounded. They were at loss of words. And the reason for this is because the stinging, strong words of Teichacha, of Musa that Yosef was giving, of Ha'od Avichai, penetrated so deeply that they had nothing to say after all these years. Sometimes we're tired. We ask, what are we fighting for? What are we always busy? The Yetzer Hara is taking us down. We have to fight back. It's a struggle. We have to fight. The Chaparain, we have to utilize, stay committed. For what? For who? But the answer is that it's Kedai. Emir Hashem, Yova Heyoim, Yom HaGadol V'Hanoira. When we utilize the kelim, the vessels that Hashem has given us, and we tell Hashem, yes, I tried my best. I became the best who I could be. I didn't live a stira. I did not live a contradictory life. I tried my best. I had money, limited money, but I gave it to Meiser. I had limited time, but I used it for learning Torah. I didn't say, no, I can't learn tonight, I'm tired, but then went and played pool, went and schmoozed with a friend, went and wasted it. When we live honestly with ourselves and when we do what we can, Mir Hashem, we'll be those. It'll be hafuch. Olam Hafuch will be part of the Olam Hafuch Re'isi, that we may feel that we're struggling here, that it's hard, it's schleppy. What are we in it for? But when we continuously are Zereah, we plant away in this world, Misha Tarach B'Shabbos, and Mirta Hashem will be Yeichel B'Shabbos, in the Olam of Kuloi Emes, in the Olam of Kuloi Emes, no Sheker, of Menucha, and there we'll be on top and we'll be happy, we'll be besimcha that we invested our time wisely. Amir Hashem. Have a wonderful Shabbos.
I thank each and every one of you for listening. I hope you enjoyed and I wish you a wonderful Shabbos.